and get in, and I'll close the door after you. I said, you come in too. So he obliged, because he has confidence in his technical siddhis. And then he switched off the light. It was really like being in Alibaba's cave. And I didn't know how we were going to get out. So I said, John, you sure know that there is a way out? Oh yes, he said, look at that little light there. And there was a teeny weeny little bulb, something very much like a mini night light, in one corner. And I said, how does that help? Very amateurish question. He said, you just press it. I went and touched it, and there was a bell that rang like a big burglar alarm. Everybody must have heard it, and John says, this means, come and help me out. That's what the mantram is, the little red saffron light. Inside, you have only to go and touch it, and the whole of the heavens reverberate with your cry, help me, I'm in the soup. My son, I descend from heaven for thy salvation. Otherwise, I don't want to come and make a little money or multiply a few material possessions. I have everything I want in heaven, which is my home. But for the sake of you and me, says Jesus, I come down. I took upon me thy miseries, not out of necessity, but charity drawing me thereto, charity, caritas in the sense of love, that thou thyself mightest learn patience and bear temporal miseries without grudging. That's a very beautiful representation of the principle of the crucifixion, where Jesus says, when I see you suffer because of your self-will, your selfishness, your anger and your fear, my heart melts with grief. And I come down so that by sharing your grief, I can lessen your burden and show you how not to cause grief to yourself by causing grief to others. We are really to be careful, extremely careful in observing this law, because often we are not aware when we cause grief to others. People who are prone to dwell upon themselves, they hardly know when they cause grief to others. And when we went to see My Fair Lady, based on Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion, Professor Higgins, a very well-intentioned, pompous professor, he was so caught up in phonetics, so much sandwiched between vowels and consonants, that he couldn't just be sensitive to the needs of the flower girl. Ow, he says, what kind of sound is that? For him, the flower girl is a particular phonetic sound. He doesn't even see the girl. And he treats her just as a collection of sounds, which is sometimes what phonetics people do to students. The flower girl, though brought up in Covent Garden, she has her feelings. She will often tell Professor Higgins, I have my feelings. And Higgins, he understands diphthongs, but he doesn't understand feelings. He just is not aware of this at all. And when he picks her up from Covent Garden, she is very untidy, and he takes her home to his apartment, calls his char lady and says, throw her into the tub. This is his way. He doesn't think of her as a girl, as a collection of sounds. Just throw her in the tub and sounds float. Like this he goes on, behaving to her without any consideration, yet